Yo, what's up, guys? Let's go over my NQ recap. So, coming into this session here, it was a little awkward. So, here's the current low of day on NQ and the current high of day. Right? So, there's SMT on both sides of the range. So, there's SMT at the current low of day, because here's 1800 over here. But it's not high probable because it's just a double sweep. Whenever you see this shit, it's not high probable, right? When you create SMT, dude, you don't really want to see this double sweep SMT. Like you're seeing it everywhere right now. Uh, there's SMT like this, dude. It's just everywhere. Like this is consolidation, just straight up. There's no real like follow through to any side necessarily, but I'm mainly more bullish, guys, because obviously look at the daily, but it's because of YM here. It was more so putting in some decent structure for the upside. So obviously we had this decoupling yesterday. We're like V-shaped back into the range, but this like super deep retracement back into the range is not a bearish signature at all. Right? That's not a bearish signature. So you guys are probably seeing like a two-stage PSP print at the time because you have a PSP here, bearish, and then obviously you already know you're gonna create a two-stage. You already know it's gonna happen. But it just kept ripping right through it, just ripping to the previous high. And we created a super deep retracement back into that C2's high, which you know is just not a reversal signature. That's why I was saying more so bullish, if anything, because we actually created a V shape back into that range, and then we had a shallow tracement back to this low, which was looking more bullish to me, right? We had a SMT at the current low of day, so YM actually looks set to expand, but here's why it really matters to me. Whoops, hold on. So here's why it really matters for both assets to be set to expand for me, right? Because you have the YM, it looks good. NQ looks like shit. You have, I don't care about the SMT, by the way. This does not matter at all. SMT at the current low day doesn't matter at all. Because there's no reversal signature. Like, look here, it's just consolidation, right? So there's no reversal signature at the current low of day or nothing like that. 1800's low of day, like super low probable stuff. So there's no established low of day on YM for me to trust going to the open. So therefore, I have to wait for NQ to trade into something that could potentially create an established low day, and then you go from there. Okay, so this is what would be ideal for me. Just playing one more candle. Well, let's go 30 minutes so it doesn't just do that. So this is right before the open. This is what I wanted to see ideally. Both assets to go lower, but this asset not take out this low right here. Maybe form like advanced premium discount. That'd be sick if we did that. That's what I was actually like hoping for. Um, but obviously I wanted to trade through this low into the current low of day because this is a gap high on the 4 hour. This is a gap. So I wanted to go in that gap and form the low of day there because that's the current low of day. And then I wanted to see if we could like go higher from there, right? So when we actually did that, it was actually looking like that could have happened, that potential scenario. So let me show you. So did it take it out yet? Oh no. Wait, is that the gap? Yeah, that's what I thought. So this asset had not reached the gap yet. It took out this low, like this low here, but it hadn't take out the current low of day, which is the gap again. Let me show you one more time so you can see it. This is 1800 low. I have not created low of day. So you have to wait for these things to happen, right? So like I saw some people long this. It's like this is like more of a, I guess, an experience thing or something, probably, where they think that I don't even know because it hadn't even like taken this low out. I don't know what they're, I don't know, but this is what I'm waiting for, guys. So maybe you can take something out of this. Um, like I'm not judging you for this, like I'm not judging you, but it's a more of a learning thing where like you need to wait for like NQ to hit a key level, and therefore because NQ you want assets to go in the same direction. So if you're trying to long YM, you need NQ to go long. In order for NQ key, oh my god, I can't talk. In order for NQ to go long, you need it to hit a key level, right? That's what you need. So when we actually do that, just chalk the whole idea, dude. Like it's looking cooked at this point because YM is just straight up in consolidation, dude. It can't displace to the previous high. or not the previous high, this high, which is the current high day. It's like creating failure swings with the previous high, and then we're coming back all the way down to the current low of day. So at this point, it's just straight up seek and destroy. You can obviously see it. We're taking out the current high of day, the current low of day. That's seek and destroy. So it's just remaining in that consolidation, this area, right? Just remaining in there. But over here on NQ, it actually can make sense to go long because it just hit a gap. So this is a delayed protraction where you open high first, you come back to the current low of day. In this case, the current low of day is a key level. So when you hit that key level, it can potentially expand. But you don't have SMT with the key level because, you know, 1800 is like right here, right? So there's no SMT fill. So you would need an SMT inside the key level. And this is where, again, today is like really an advanced type of day because there's specific things you have to wait for here. And I'm going to show you that here today. I don't know why I have SMT marked there. There's no SMT. But so we have our key level. So now you need an SMT with the key level. And this is actually ideal that you get the strength switch. So boom, you get the strength switch here. So why is this a strength switch, guys? Is because this asset, the high of day is 3 o'clock. The high of day over here is 9 o'clock, right? So you know there's SMT here. You know this SMT does not matter, guys. Why does it not matter? Because it's internal to the daily range. Or, yeah, to the previous range. It's just internal. It's creating failure swings. It's not high probable. It's likely to create, just be used as a retracement, right? We just create a new low of day. There's no established high of day, in my opinion. This, to me, is like all like close proximity failure swings. So this is almost like a retracement signature, right? Where slow, sluggish retracements, and we just expand it into a key level. Now we're expanding away. That is a V shape, right? V shape. This is the strength switch right here, by the way. Boom. You get the close. So this is what reverse signatures look like, right? They're quick, speed, right? But here you need to wait, right? Not for the strength switch necessarily. You need to time this trade. And it's not 10 a.m., right? It's not this where, 6 a.m. hits the key level. You don't want to wait. You don't want to trade this candle because it has a large wick, although that's true. I'm not talking about 10 a.m. continuation. Well, I am, of course. I'm talking about 10 a.m. continuation, but I'm talking about timing the 10 a.m. candle. Okay, you need to time the 10 a.m. candle with 90-minute open. Okay. So if you check this out, just think about it. Right, this candle here, this 90-minute candle runs from 9 a.m. to 10:30. And if the candle looks like this, where it has a large wick, what can it not do? It cannot expand away from the key level, right? It can reverse, but it can't expand. We want to trade expansion. So you trying to trade 10 a.m., like right at 10 a.m., you're still within this candle, this 90-minute interval that cannot expand. So what are you going to wait for? You're going to wait to time the 10 a.m. 4-hour expansion with the new 90-minute open that opens about 10:30. So there's that dead space between 10 and 10:30 that you're not going to touch price. You're just going to wait for 10:30 because now you have the quarterly alignment aligned with the 4-hour candle. And that's what's going to align price. So if you actually look within this time window, what did it do? Which is essentially the 6 a.m. candle, really, in just 30 minutes into the 10 a.m. candle. Like, what did it do? What did the price do? It hit a key level, but if you go on the 30-minute, it also printed a 2-stage PSP, where it's SMT between consecutive candles, and it's confirmed by a PSP. You guys see that? Confirmed by PSP. So the low of that 90-minute candle is SMT. So that's why we don't create. That's why we don't create in this case scenario sequential SMT, because the low of the candle is SMT, right? So yeah, you just want to wait for that. That's what I really wanted to go over. You just simply want to wait for that alignment. So when you get this close, that is valid to enter. Boom, you get the close. 10:30 is a line. There you go. And this also support, by the way, this trade, right? Although this asset is not really it doesn't support expansion day necessarily, but it does absolutely support like price reversing, just from fucking nothing because it's seek and destroy, dude. It's seek and destroy, so you know that we're not going to expand beyond lows very far. And it's in consolidation, man. It's in consolidation. What does consolidation do? Leaves feather swings. Look at the feather swings here. It leaves this shit. So this profile here, it does support this idea going higher, to be honest, right? If that makes sense, hopefully. Now, this even more, this trade here is like really nice. The one that I took here on in PM session is like super nice. So one thing about delayed protraction profiles is that although you can get a pretty decent move, they're not expansion like type of. They're not going to create like these huge expansion daily ranges. All right, I'm gonna show you why. Why does it do this, by the way? That's kind of weird. Wow, that's so weird. Like, look at this. Oh, is that why? Okay, my bad. I'm stupid. But anyways, um, the difference between a delayed protraction profile and a just regular expansion kind of profile is this. Okay, so when you think about how they form, right? It's all about time. Okay, so a expansion profile will open low firsts and create its low very early on in the candle, and it has a lot of time to expand, right, beyond this high, this retracement high, this protraction phase high, right? So you're going to create these huge daily ranges because you create the low early on the candle, which allows a lot of time to expand. The difference here is it takes a lot longer to create the low of the candle. So you don't really get follow through beyond the protraction phase of that candle. So this is where it opens high first, right? Which is filtering out the possibility to create a bearish expansion candle because of the open high, right? Like creating a large move higher. And then it comes all the way lower, back below the daily open, creates the actual low of day, because there's no established low of day here, right? Because it just opens high first, no established low of day. So it'll come back later and create it, right? But this takes a long time, right? It's a lot of wasted movement. This is totally wasted time, and this is totally wasted time, because, right? If it's going to be expansion day, like you want expansion, right? So this is the only time you can participate in price is pretty much right here, because you can't buy this in this bullish day. You can't buy this. It ain't trading to anything. It didn't open low into anything. So when you come back lower, typically that retracement high, the protraction phase, this is the actual protraction phase right here. This is what you're going to be targeting. And typically you don't really see much expansion beyond this high because there's not enough time in the day to do it, because you did all of this wacky stuff before, right? So you see the difference between daily profiles. So this here, this is the protraction high. Like this is the high of day, right? So I'm not really expecting price to really expand beyond this. So do you see the depth of like understanding profiling? There's a lot more than you think to it. I've doing this for a long time, right? But there's also, it can make a lot of sense to see bearishness as well, right? Because YM it's not set to expand, right? So if this asset just hit a relevant high or a high, and YM is not set to like continue, right? Then that even supports my idea further, because if YM can't continue further, then NQ is going to have a hard time continuing further, right? Typically, you want assets to be set for expansion, and YM is in seek and destroy, right? So what would this be if this asset cannot expand beyond this high? That would just be seek and destroy, right? So I'm kind of like anticipating it, but you still need confirmation. So there's a lot of things to look here. Dude, why is there a power saw going off in the background? Dude, you cannot be serious. Sorry about that, but here, 1, 2, 3, 4 expansion candles in a row. I think it absolutely makes sense to retrace back to this range. Okay, could 100% make sense to do that. And the thing is here though, you still need 2-stage SMT, and you want to be aligned. You want to time it, right? So again, whenever you hit a key level, you have 2-stage. Look at the 90-minute candle, just real quick. If it looks like this, look at this candle. You can't trade it. You can't trade that bearishly. You don't want to. You want to just wait. All right, just wait for that new candle open. you already have 12 o'clock, around the corner. Like look at 12 o'clock. When you hit this high, 12 o'clock is in like 1 hour, dude. Or actually 45 minutes. Shit, actually 30 minutes. So just wait for 12, dude. Wait for 12. That's when the reversal is likely to happen, okay? And this is sequential SMT right here, which is not really some enigma that you think it is. I think the enigma is the timing, just waiting for the opening of these candles, like having them aligned, I think is the enigma. It's not really sequential SMT in my opinion. But you do have sequential SMT, which is just, I mean, really, guys, it's just a two-stage SMT, really, and you're timing at 12. This is the real enigma right here, is the strength versus PSP, right? Cracking correlation, sweeping the high, closing bearish, showing weakness. So it's showing strength, but now it's showing weakness, which confirms this retracement phase of price, which confirms the daily profile. And you have that 12 o'clock aligned. Now the 4-hour candle is absolutely not aligned. Look at the 4-hour open. It's all the way down here, right? Look at that huge wick. So typically, how are you gonna fade a 4-hour candle or a 6-hour candle? Think about it like this. It's really simple. If you're gonna fade a 6-hour candle, you want the 4-hour candle aligned. If you're gonna fade a 4-hour candle, wait for the 6-hour to align. Really simple. So if you look at the 6-hour candle down here, large wick. What do we wait for? 4-hour candle to align. But notice what we did, right? There's a lot of things going on, but this 4-hour candle, you wouldn't just trade it. You wouldn't just trade like at 10 because remember why? The 90-minute candle aligned is not aligned. So do you guys see like how many things are like? This shit is built so beautifully. It's fucking crazy. I will show you guys how to do this. Probably in like Acid Sync Part 3, whenever that's coming out. But I haven't taught everything, and this stuff is really a big part of my trading, right? It's really important. So if you look how to trade this 4-hour candle, dude, it's the same mechanical thing that I just told you, right? I don't do shit that is like random. I don't just like do whenever I feel like it, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much everything is mechanical, bro. If you look here, this 4-hour candle, super, super large wick. What do you wait for? 12 o'clock, like I just said, right? That's when you can typically trade it. How do you trade a reversal candle? This is what you're basically anticipating is that this candle is going to trade into a reversal candle, right? You need a profile to support it. You need a key level. You need two-stage SMT. You have all those things here. So you can trade this. You can technically trade this here, maybe into this gap or something. But I did not trade this. I was at the store here. So when I came to the charts, price was actually in this gap. So I was actually trading this C2 right here. All right, so this is universal sequence, right? Two-stage, gap, no gap SMT. So I either need to wait for a lower time frame cracking correlation within the C2 or the C2 closure. That's really it. But I also want to point this out, is that you actually have two-stage here. Right, you actually have two-stage right here. But why did I avoid this? Right, it should be fairly obvious, but why did I avoid this two-stage here? Because YM, to me, doesn't make sense to continue, right? Given the profile. It just doesn't make sense. Even though I actually fucking did it. It actually kind of did go higher, but that's why I completely ruled out this type of SMT down here, right? There's also a gap right above it, like this is a gap. Like you're basically trading into a 30-minute gap as well, which when you have a strong narrative is completely irrelevant, by the way, to be honest. But this, to me, all assets printing this gap here was a pretty strong signature to me, honestly. But that's why I kind of avoided that. But you're going to see here, within that 30-minute gap, you have this two-stage. And you might be like, why are you using this random, like, 1245 high? That's not even a key level. This is why you got to look at other assets. This is a key level. It's a 15-minute gap. So again, not just using any random, like, two-stage. Like, I would never use this as, like, a SMT, for example. It has to be a key level, guys. Always. On one of the assets. So there you get your strength switch. YM does not take the high out. As you can see, does not take the high out. There. And then I enter here. Right. And this to me is a little bit better trade than my other one because or not my other one, but this other one. I think it's a little bit better. Reason being is because um, the 4 hour candle is about to open. So 13:52, in 8 minutes, the 4 hour candle is also about to be aligned, which you can pretty much anticipate that this is going to close a C2. You can't really anticipate it to close a PSP, but you can anticipate it being a C2, right? And playing out as a universe sequence, right? The previous candle hit a key level. It's basically opening up within a C2, or the previous candle hitting a key level, and we can continue, right? You can also anticipate, um, right, closing mainly as a C2, pretty much. As you can see, I don't know why I pulled the other asset, but yeah, as a C2 basically. And yeah, we could just continue to here. So I know that this gap is irrelevant. That's why I'm targeting a lower gap, guys. It's not just because like I'm just feeling this gap, you know. No, if I traded this, if this reversal here, I would just target this gap. That's it. But price already traded the gap. It's showing that price is not reversing from the gap. So that means it wants to go lower, obviously. And what do we have lower? I mean, you could target this low, these lows, or this gap here. That's what I targeted personally. And yeah, that's really it, boys. I really like the signature here. This is such a nice gap here. And yeah, YM actually just kept going. Like, it just kept going while I was in the trade, which is kind of weird. So really weird price action again, bro. It just kept going. So obviously this is a PSP 1300 PSP. Ended up forming like this here. But yeah, it's just not set for like some crazy ass expansion. More so retracing back into the range I like. So this, it did expand, but not very far. Like didn't really go very far. So it still ended up as a really shitty profile. So really harder day to navigate. A lot of things you gotta wait for. But those are kind of the trades that I kind of saw. I also wouldn't take this personally either, even if I wasn't at the store. I don't think I would take this. Here, because of what YM looked like, it looked like shit. Like, look at this. Looks like straight up consolidation here. So actually wouldn't trade that probably because it looks like consolidation. So yeah, I'll probably wait for it to expand or whatever. But by that time, I mean, it already hit the gap basically. So that's pretty much it, guys. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Did I recap my other trades? Let me go over gold real quick as well. So we had this, like we swept this high out, and we had a C2 candle, right? So I'm thinking bearishness. That's what I'm thinking. I think we had SMT, no? Yeah, we did. We had SMT with this high as well. So we had a cracking correlation and a C2. So I'm thinking we can go to this gap at least. Like I'm thinking this can at least retrace price, this SMT, into the gap, right? But the refined key levels here are not very great, to be honest. Like you just have this high, really. This is the gap low. I'm thinking that we get there early on because we're just opening near the previous low. You can see we did some bullshit. We just expand like crazy, right? And at this point, first off, this is already kind of sus, low-key. This isn't, when I look inside the C2 candle, it's not the greatest price action, right? Because if this is a reversal, why you don't want price to do this really deep retracement back this high. And it just does the same thing here, dude. It starts to retrace really deep into this high. So this is just straight up consolidation, you know? So when price did this really early on day, I knew immediately I was not going to trade this shit. And that to me is really low probable. And it left this high, bro. So I did not entertain this shit at all. Like I would not trade anything here. And even though it delivered or whatever, dude, I wouldn't trade it. You know? I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Bro, I would not catch anything today in this price action. So I don't really like it at all. I literally think it's just consolidation, to be honest. And yeah, I don't really fuck with it. No SMT at that high or nothing like that. So meh. There was like some internal SMT or something like that. You know, to confirm this continuation, dude, I wouldn't trade this either. I saw a lot of people trade this. I can't trade this. I'm gonna show you why. So look at gold, and this is what I mean by like I need both assets to be set for reversal, right? Or they both it needs to make some type of sense for the other asset to reverse. When I look here, this looks cool, right? Cool. Doesn't look cool? Looks cool. When I go to Euro and GBP, shit, like bad. Like it's bad. Like it's just in, like straight up consolidation, you know, which I can't fuck with, right? I can't do it. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say I would take that because I wouldn't. I'm never catching that. So yeah, that's gold for me. Uh, Fuck it, dude. I'm just gonna go over this too, honestly. So this is my trade on CL. Yeah, why not? Just continue. So I'm also thinking that we can trade into a gap as well, right? Because the C2 high basically is a gap. That's a great model, right? Where like the previous day hits a key level or creates SMT, or maybe is a PSP, and the previous high or low is a gap, right? So you're not even asking for price to do too much. It's highly likely to actually happen and hit that gap. So meaning like if you have the previous day trading into a key level, maybe there's a key level here, and that it creates a C2 basically, and you just have the previous low as a gap. So that C2 lower high, in this case it's a lower low because it's a bearish reversal, is a gap. So it's a key level. So you can target that. It's a very strong draw. It adds to the probability, especially when it's a PSP, by the way. Like that's a really easy model on the daily. When you get a daily PSP, weekly PSP, you just target that high, the PSP high. In this case, it's a bearish C2, target the high, but the high is a gap, right? That's a really good draw, a really good thing to have, right? Especially when you have S&P like this. So we do have S&P like this, right here, two-stage S&P. You also have this asset that swept here. It's closing bullish, but it's not really a strength switch because you would need RB to be bearish, right? But it is showing that all assets are reversing from it. That's what it is showing. So that's important. Um, but when I look inside this PA, it does not really look like a bearish reversal, especially on CL. It looks really bad, right? This looks like straight consolidation. So I'm going to show you how I approach this type of day. And it's with a lot of caution and a lot of extra kind of like confluence. So if I was to trade bullish and trade this confidently, I would want an SMT or a sweep of these lows, these relevant lows. This is the relevant low. This is the fair swing. But you don't even get that, dude. Look what happens. You open low. Let me just fast forward to 9:30. That's when I come to charts. So I come to charts at 9:30, which is right here. And we're just still internal to this. But I'm going to show you that why I long this. So if you take the previous high and look at the other assets, they already traded into the high and they already continued through it. Like we already retraced back into this low and continued through it. We already created another high. This S&P is here, absolutely relevant. So we already know that the previous high is likely to draw because the other assets already traded through it. It's already showed you what the triad for the day is doing. It wants to be bullish, right? So that in itself is why I'm going to pick the consolidation high over the consolidation low to target, all right? You're going to see that when we create this SMT, it creates a bearish move lower. If I mark out the current low of day, the current high of day, we trace into the current low of day, taking out this relevant low within the current low of day, right? The space between these lows, right? I'm just talking about the current daily range. I'm not talking about overall relevant swings, okay? If I just look at the current low of day, the current high of day, right? The space between, the current low of day and this swing internal to the daily range, I would say is relevant, right? Especially when it's confirmed like this, right? With this strength switch. I'm thinking we definitely can get to these highs because that's a strength switch, right? To go ahead and break all these highs. It looks like this. So it's not really advanced premium discount, but it is forming in a gap. Like the fair swing is forming in a gap, which is what you want to see. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily advanced premium discount because this is forming really low in the range. But it doesn't even matter, dude. It doesn't matter. It's confirmed by a strength switch, and look at the phase of price that we get at this SMT. Dude, literally consolidation. So this is definitely a continuous signature. is this move right here. If you took this trade right here, really good job. I'm not up at 8 o'clock, but if you took something up in here, dude, that's a good ass trade, right? So yeah, good shit. So like for example, whatever you want to trade, it doesn't even matter, dude. If you want to trade HO, RB, those are those two stronger assets. This is really the trade, right? 2R to the most recent consolidation high, earlier tracing high. That's a fire trade, man. But I was not up at that time, obviously, so I had to take the continuation. So as long as you have a draw and liquidity still open, you're good. All right. So when I come charts at 9:30, which is boom right here, I get on the charts usually at 9:30 because the indices open. This is what I see, bro. So I see we still have a draw open. We have a two-stage here, right? Like I said, this SMT up here is irrelevant. This SMT down here is starting to be relevant because all assets are expanding away. They're all creating gaps. So what is that? That's the universal sequence, right? Look at the daily candle, small wick, yes. Previous day PSP. So it's starting to check out, right? Even though we're in consolidation, you're seeing how I check consolidation, right? I'm waiting for internal cracks, blah, blah, blah. In this case, I'm really not just guessing which side we're going to. No, I have like data already. Like the other assets already traded into the consolidation high and failed to manipulate it. So it's actually a little bit different. But here, you're seeing that these assets actually took out this high, this retracement high. So there's actually SMT right here, by the way. Right here is SMT, technically. Y'all see that right there? Boom. So here's where you get a strength switch. So go ahead and break that SMT. SMT fill, HO, right there. This is a strength switch to go and break the previous high SMT as well, right? This asset is just showing overall strength right here and right here, right after sweeping out this low. So yeah, I go to lower time frame. You can see here, this is also a strength switch as well. It looks like this. Like that. So this gap right here is 845. 845 gap. Right. So when I go to lower time frames, it's the 15-minute strength switch with the pre-scans low. This is what I personally entered, this gap right here. Only stop loss there. Looking for that high right there. So 5R to the previous high. So given the like what do we call it? Given the what's the word here, man? Consolidation that we're in, it's really nice what we got. Really nice context here and confirmation to it. So yeah, really good aura and whatnot. So yeah, that was really it, guys. Pretty large wick here as well. But again, like the strength switch and the continuation, like I thought was fine. And I'm entering with this candle, by the way, is about to close basically at 9:30. There's only 30 minutes left in the candle. So I'm not like sure if this time window is gonna hit the key level, or I'm not sure if it's gonna hit the draw. But I do know that we should open up 10 a.m. Away from this reversal and continue, right? So either way, yeah, I just thought it was a nice sequence. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. What else? That's really all it took. Yeah. That's all it took. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch you later. Look at this power. This freaking drill, dude, or like saw. Like, what the fuck?